Good evening again, everyone, and welcome back to Northwest Native Tracker. Channel explores Bigfoot ground spore and native lore. So, went to another little area where I usually find tracks, and found some very young, definitely not human, very flat, and pretty deep. None of these tracks are really huge. They've got a nice little suction print, so you can tell the foot's got a brachial arch, longer than my hand. But there are others here. This one's a really nice example here. A little slip track. Very deep grip with the toes, long toes, and that's my track there. Another really flat, dish-like track with a very large toe. Looks like a print over a print, potentially. You got some smaller tracks in here. That thing looks like a mink track right there. You got some dog tracks, maybe coyote. Don't look like they have trimmed nails. All this little trackway stuff in here. And this stuff looks like it's about a week old. Probably during the last rain. That one's a really nice example there. It's got a good deep toe dig. There's a classic slip track. See that incredibly high bump in the middle of the foot? No matter how high of an arch a human has, you are not ever going to see that. So Bigfoot, especially when they're younger, sometimes even they retain this flexibility in their feet when they're older, they can pinch their heel and ball of foot together and create this funny little roll of material in the middle. And it's just an even little bump between the heel and the ball of the foot with the toes. They can fold their foot just like your hand. That's really unique, hard to find. Additionally, they had something with them that had an unusual track print. I do not know what that is, but it is very round, very peculiar track. Might have been the end of a stick, but it looks too much like walking. But it's kind of dispersed throughout. And you get a couple more good examples over here. That one's about the size of a normal human foot, way too deep in here. Another one with a real high bump here in the middle, real deep depression there. Dilapidated, collapsing track. Got another good slip track over here, partially collapsed with this nice little brachial arch. Some youngsters tracks. That one right there. Yeah, they come down to this location a lot. There's a spring in the area. And there's one down here that's got very flat rowing on his toes. Very angular. That's an Oh'ma again. Some of these are more recent, looks like within the last couple of days or maybe even last night. That one's still pretty fresh. That's definitely a youngster there though. So anyway, wanted y'all to see this. Give you some idea of what to look for. These tracks are probably about a month old because they're really starting to fall apart. So they come back to this location a lot. Looks like there might be some fresher ones over here. No, those are all people tracks. Except for that guy. That's way too narrow. Way too spread out. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. It's that little drop down point. Oh, and there's tracks coming through here, all across here. That guy's pretty good sized. So, it's a good location to find tracks. Do not, I repeat, do not come down here and try to cast them at Cottage Grove Lake. You cannot add anything to the straight here. You also are not allowed to remove anything. It's overseen by Army Corps of Engineers, and they have some very, very strict rules about that sort of thing. There's actually a track with a splay on the toe where they opened up their foot. This one right here. And that's human there, but that one's way too big for human, unless it's a crossover track, you know, stepping back in their own track. But I don't see the step out point. Looks like it's over there, because it's not going this way. Every track that coming here. So anyway, this is the sort of thing you can find. You can find these just about anywhere. Yeah, here's that really peculiar round track. Now maybe it's just a really tiny one. Looks like he might have a... That's really odd. Looks like he only has 3 toes. Well, that's interesting. This track's really, really wide and very narrow, and then somebody stepped in on top of it. So these sorts of trackways you can find where there are springs. They'll come to a spring, because there's a spring just up here. They'll come to a spring to drink, especially if the water is, you know, not the best to drink. They'll take something fresh over something not fresh, and that's what these guys are doing here. They're coming up to get spring water. They don't bother anybody. They don't throw anything at anyone. People don't even, you know, a lot of people don't realize they're here, and the ones that do, they already know, because, well, they're probably farmers or hunters in the area, or fishermen, etc., and they probably had their run-ins already. So I wanted you to see this sort of thing so you can identify this kind of terrain in your area and what you might find there when you can, you know, identify the spot. If you like my content, please feel free to like the button, like the like button. Sorry, I'm getting tired. I need to go eat. And I really appreciate all my long, steadfast subscribers and all my new participants. Thank you. And today had a really good day with the live. Really appreciate everybody that came by and said hello. And you have a good evening. Take care.